Welcome back to set 2 over in EU today. Now I'm going to be joined by Mr. Adonis. You ready for this one?
I'm pretty excited. JusTus going to be taking on Epsilon. For this one, it's kind of a twofold story. JusTus, they're so close to actually being out of contention for the Super Regionals. They need 3 more losses, and then they can't come back from it. Even if they tie Dignitas and wins, Dignitas wins the head-to-head. So, you know, if they drop both games here, it's unlikely that they make regionals.
I know, including these 2 games, they had 8 games remaining, and they were 5 games behind Dignitas.
Yes.
So there's still a chance, right?
It is a very hard and long chance.
And it's against, the first one they've got to do is Epsilon. And Epsilon, their opponents today, you'll see them on screen. Great performance from them all season long. Top of Europe, not a surprise there. 21-1, only dropping that 1 game to Fnatic all season long.
2-0 here against JusTus confirms Epsilon as first seed for Europe going into Super Regionals. Yep, they only need 2 games, and then it is impossible for Paradigm to match them, even if they win
you should have told them that.
In their direct head.
You should have mentioned that to Epsilon, because next week we're going to see like AMC, every
Hey,
single
you know, I asked them
earlier
in the week they played, and I actually asked them, and they said they might experiment a little bit. Not necessarily like trolling, but I think that's the time where you just play some compositions that, you know, you probably didn't want to risk running beforehand.
Completely agree.
It's
JusTus, though, only finding 3 wins so far this season. Many roster changes. You can see that this is not the same roster that began the season for JusTus.
Yeah, Sanjo going to be going to that jungle role. Xephyr has moved from jungle to solo. You know, Fexez has been here since the start. Same with Qiwen and VoteNBK. Those 3 players, they were there from week 1. Yeah.
Okay.
Week 1.
I wasn't 100% certain.
Like they joined together, I think, during relegation.
Well, the original roster was Qiwen back.
Oh yeah, Qiwen's the only one from Upcoming Stars. The team that got picked up by JusTus. So there's a stat, Hindu, that I want to talk about for this game. It's called the 20 kill stat. So JusTus, aka Upcoming Stars, they've only won 6 games in the Pro League this entire season 2. But they've won a number of them in relegations and qualifiers as well. Anytime they get 20 or more kills, they win the game. Anytime they have 19 or less kills, they lose. They have never had 20 or more kills and lost their games.
Can they get 20 kills
against Epsilon? That's what it is, right? The only time, there was one time, right? And that was, I believe, the summer split where they had 16 kills and they beat Dignitas. But anytime they're over 20, they win the game. So, just flat.
If we look at Ninja Dimi in the solo lane, or Dimi as he's now known, he dies once every 8 kills he gets. Kills and assists. So his KDA is 8 right now. So if they manage to kill him 20 times, and Dimi still goes
it's okay.
8 on KDA.
Did you know that Dimi's average death per game is like 0.5 or something? So I mean, I think he's never died more than twice in a game.
We'll find out if he can die more than twice in this one. JusTus, they need to find 20 kills to confirm the game according to Adonis. Can they get that far in? At the moment, the bans are pretty much standard. The last one, I'm expecting a Giannis potentially here coming out from Epsilon. Just to round it out, they will leave a healer or 2 on the board. But for me, those bans that we see at the bottom there, Adonis, they are the 4 standard bans right now.
They're the meta bans.
Everything else is kind of flex based on our position, like healers and hell, or other ideas that people run very specifically.
I think it's a lot about what lane you want to control or what kind of game style you want. If you leave one of those 4 picks open, Thor going to be first picked. Going to Sanjo in the jungle. And you know, Sanjo, he's not afraid to play anything spicy.
Hold on. I mean, this is EU, and we do flex around with that Thor a little bit more than these days. We do look potentially put him into the solo lane.
Support. Support's a big one for me. But only Trix really seems to make it work. Everyone else kind of just fails terribly.
No,
I'm not going to lie.
Fails played AD carry today.
That's true. He did play AD carry. Yeah, he's just moving wherever he wants. Wherever the team needs him, he plays.
Neith locked in, so global ultimates. Nuwa can go into the solo lane. So we may potentially see Dimi play that one, and Neith could be in the mid lane as well, but we've seen Emilitoo and a lot of Neith this season.
These are flex picks for Epsilon. I do expect the Neith to go into Emilitoo's hands. The new wall, though, Epsilon doesn't even know, right? They're going to wait for the rest of the draft to determine where they want to put it.
Very, very high win ratio on Neith. 66% wins, not picked that much. Good season so far for the girl in generally the Hunter role, but we've seen her around. Isis locked in for the mid lane, and Xing going to be locked in.
This one I'm excited for. This is only the second Xing we've seen. Dimi actually played it earlier this week. He was the first one we saw in solo. We didn't really get to see too much. I mean, it did a lot in team fights, but it was a very one-sided game. So we didn't really get to fully see how powerful it was. Now, though, I'm interested to see if this is a solo or a support.
Okay, so what I've decided on Jig 10 as well is that when we see this god in action, what I'm looking for is an up-down, round and round. That's what I'm calling.
The up-down, round and round?
The up-down, round and round.
I was like trying to figure out what do we call his ultimate because it's Whirlwind of Rage and Steel.
Because what if he goes up and down, and then he hits the round and round?
All right.
That's what you do. Up,
all right,
down,
you could
round
use
and round.
Slam, right? Slam, that's the up and down. It's Slam. Oh, no, wait. Yeah, because it's like Sky Cutting Axe.
Yeah, but I don't call it,
is the jump.
Up, down. Up, down, round
His
and
ability
round.
names are like really bad for
And then
casting.
Hot Breath for the one. That's
Furious Roar.
Hot Breath.
You actually don't know the ability. You're just like, I'm just going to...
I don't. I've not actually had a chance to research him that much, but I'm going to go up, down, round and round, Hot Breath. That's the calls for today.
Oh, man.
Ymir going to be locked in for Epsilon. We've seen IRaffer start going to this a lot more recently. He's not been very prominent on his Ymir before, but he's started to find his feet with it, I feel.
I think so as well. Fenrir going to be locked in. Going to, could be the solo, could be the jungle as well. Epsilon, they have that flexibility
Probably
still.
jungle here. I mean, the Thanatos ban as well from JusTus is a little hit at Dimi there. They don't, sorry, adapting. They don't want to see him on that one. So they've taken away his Thanatos and his Thor.
His Circuit's gone as well.
But can you really ban away adapting?
No. I mean, he doesn't really play a very wide range of junglers, but that's just because he doesn't need to, right? He's like, all right, this is the one I want to play this week. And if you ban it away, all right, I got my second or third or fourth, right? He has 4 core options that he never really goes away from.
Chaac going to be picked up again. It looks like more and more people in the region going to start noticing that. Zaylu's been playing it a lot prominently lately, and now it's back, especially with the additional slow on the rain. It's been a little bit more effective.
I really want to see JusTus get rolling early. They have a composite. This is actually going to be pretty early game focus from both team comps. Neith, Ymir, Fenrir over on Epsilon, and then JusTus. They have the Thor, the Isis, the Xing 10. He kind of floats around. Doesn't have the best early game when it comes to laning, but has a pretty strong team fight. Chaac with Bluestone can always be effective early as well. And then Nox locked in.
Yeah, Nox going to be locked in as well. Nox was picked for Epsilon as well, so good to see her coming back again. A couple of games, we saw Epsilon play it last time. We also saw last game Myrmidon's played it. Nice one.
Yeah, we've seen a couple Noxes, seen a couple, or the solo Xing from earlier in this week. Game starting up, Sanjo going to be in the jungle. You can see him sitting there. He has his red putt, so what junglers do is they want to get the maximum efficiency of that consumable item. Make sure they get the full amount of time in it, so they sit and spawn, and then pop the potion, usually about the 20-second mark before minions spawn, and then they'll buy a couple more potions and rotate to the buffs.
So no one's going to die in solo lane for the most part. Chaac's going to be able to pretty much free farm there, as is Nuwa. Nuwa will probably just sit back a little bit and use those minions and the fog to really clear the wave. Sit at the backside, don't take too much poke. If there's anything, Chaac early game probably has the kill potential on a Nuwa, but then once she hits like level 6, it's almost unkillable for Chaac to really find it there. And same in response for Nuwa, she's not realistically going to find anything unless the junglers make an impact.
Especially with the heal coming out from Xephyr and his kid, and the fact that Dimi doesn't have a reliable burst damage. It's really about the minion and then the shining metal combination.
Now mid lane though is a different story here, Kevin, because we're going to see Isis versus the Nox. Now Isis has to be very careful with the Wind Gust usage, because if you use the Wind Gust early and then she throws out the silence
on top of you,
you immediately
and it's a pretty fast activation
it
too.
Is.
It's not like it's delayed.
So he's going to be very careful about his position and how he does it. If Yammyn realizes that, he can actually put a little bit of pressure on this Isis's wave clear that she should have an advantage on early.
For now, though, it's going to be Fexez who controls the lane, rotates over to the mid-harpies, and I think we're going to see Adapting give these up, and that's what happens, right? Tech, if your mid laner does not get early pressure, you typically ignore contesting the right harpies and then immediately go with your own jungler to the left.
It also takes into account what the 2v2 matchup is as well. Isis Thor against anyone is probably one of those fights that you don't want to take at the beginning of the game at level 2.
Even as Fenrir and Nox, which also have a lot of combo burst potential at level 2.
Very, very risk.
Dimi and Xephyr going to be battling against each other in the soul lane. I think Xephyr is allowed to play Chaac because his name starts with X.
Okay, but good poke coming out from Dimi once again, that full minion wave. The time didn't do as much as he was hoping to clear that wave out, so he's eating a lot from the Archer, but plenty of health potion to sustain, and obviously the rain as well.
You ignored it. It's at Kazalia.
I was ignoring it.
You're going to continue to ignore it? All right. But Xephyr, no, taking a lot of poke early on. He's going to have to get some healing done. And actually, the Rain Dance, the cooldown is incredibly large. I believe it's like 15 seconds, so not going to be able to sustain that frequently, and needs to be careful of the poke that Dimi's putting on. That's actually first blood. You saw Xephyr just get so poked out. He threw his axe into the wave, missed most of it, and then he kind of walked forward into the wave.
Yeah.
and he had no way to get out with his axe down.
And I just mentioned that the Chaac versus, the new WoW matchup early, Chaac should be the one with the kill potential realistically, but he did manage to find his abilities correctly on the wave and took most of the poke that he didn't really need to.
That just seems to be, Xephyr is still a little bit inexperienced with the solo lane role. He was a jungler and only recently switched over once Sanjo came off of the coaching sub role into the starting position. So Xephyr, a little bit of matchup.
Well, he used to be a solo laner back there before he was jungle as well. Back in the old days, so he has got experience there. It's just not paid off for him. I guess new WoW, obviously one thing with a new WoW as well, you will be up in the minions, so you're going to take a little bit of poke from Shining Metal potentially and the fog too. As we check with the duo lane, we've watched it a couple of times. We've not mentioned it just yet in this matchup, and you can see exactly how this one's going to play out during the early game. Qiwen's not got the greatest of wave clears on Xing 10, and against a Neith Ymir who have outstanding wave clear, you can see the pressure they're able to put on that side of the map.
Sanjo level 5, no wards for Epsilon in the Gold Fury area.
Really funny actually, because time and time again Epsilon was pressuring that duo lane, pressuring that duo lane, pressuring that duo lane. Sanjo hits 5, they no longer pressure the duo lane all of a sudden. They were almost at the tower multiple times.
I mean, they're going, look at this. They just cleared their back harpies, and then they're rotating back in lane, and Sanjo's just kind of sitting there. I don't even think he's getting, he might be getting wave experience. I think he's a little bit too far off.
I think he'll get those melee minions there just about. He's just in range.
I do like what JusTus is doing, though. They're actually freezing the wave, which is going to bait Epsilon back over here, and you can see this is a 3-on-2.
They should know it's a bait, realistically. Here, Dimi trying to go in aggressively and keep him pinned off, but a good wall from IRaffer. He's going to stop the up and down coming out.
That was a lot of wasted time now, and you can see adapting. He's taken this opportunity and rotated over onto Xephyr. There's the axe, and there's the teleport. Xephyr, I don't see him getting out of this one. He's dead. He has no beads.
The position is fine. He's trying to hold on to his ult.
Don't use his ult. You're dead anyway. Don't use your ult. That's a waste. That's a 90-second cooldown when you were going to die anyway. No one from his team was in the area. Adapting picks up that kill, and Xephyr, he's left himself open for 90 more seconds.
It looked really strange from Xephyr there, but the reason he didn't ult straight away, which he could have done, is the moment he does that, Adapting's just going to put Ragnarok and bring him all the way back after the ultimate subsides. He's not going to get silenced out from that one. Good attempt from JusTus on this left-hand side, though, to put pressure on and try and steal away the purple, which they will do. Qiwen, it's a little bit of poke for that, but it was good play from JusTus to try and respond to the early aggression from Epsilon.
Look at Yammyn rotating in, though. Sanjo as well. Sanjo has ult if he wants to use it to get out, but he actually might get comboed out. There's the silence. Nothing for Sanjo to do. One more hit. Yammyn secures that one. Dimi takes to the air, just trying to get some poke off onto Fexez and Qiwen.
Way out of position there, has to use his flips to get away. Got to try and pick somebody up. Loop-de-loop, picks up 2, throws him with the hot breath. There's a circle of protection too. Qiwen falls down though to the root, and the damage from Adapting.
Yammyn hitting all these roots, and they're not the easiest to connect. You can really tell that Yammyn, he's been practicing this god. Adapting will pick up Fexez in the mid lane, and that's, I believe, 3 dead over the course of that fight.
3 quick deaths and 5 always favor of Epsilon. Xephyr though looking to try and steal away this buff, but he's against Dimi.
Look at that slow, so powerful.
He's going to trade this one back a little bit though. Those clay minions are doing work for free. Now in a full minion wave, 2 is Xephyr, and Dimi's quite happy to continue fighting as now Adapting turns up with a brutalized Xephyr. Doesn't find the kill, ends up falling.
That was incredibly risky from Xephyr. It just took a little bit too long, but Dimi hitting that clutch root is what locked Xephyr in place long enough. If he had his ult there, he would have been able to get out, though Adapting's rotation still might have picked him off, but like I said earlier, dropping that 90-second cooldown opens yourself up to be ganked again, and that's just what Adapting did, rotating over after Xephyr a little bit too greedy, looking to poke out Dimi.
Although MBK is the only one not to die on the side of JusTus yet. You said the slash line was they have to get 20 kills. Well, they're already down 6 and haven't found one in response just yet. It's going to be a rough ass for them to get themselves back into this one so far because all their lanes are relatively losing pretty badly right now.
I like what JusTus have been fighting, right? They're not just allowing Epsilon to run over them. The fights just aren't going their way. They're not getting the numbers. They're not having the positioning. But they're working as a team, which is a good look, right? Because it's much better than just being passive and allowing Epsilon to slowly gain a gold lead. Right now, they're only down about 1,500. They've stolen some buffs, even though they've died in these engagements and kept up relative and farm. Now VoteNBK, though, getting ganked, and no beads for him. He's going to fall.
I think I jinxed him. No, I didn't. He might be able to get away. Archers, though, are doing work of the Unravel. We'll pick him up. I just jinxed him as well by saying he's the only one not to die, and then he gets ganked.
Poor VoteNBK.
Epsilon heard me.
Caster curse.
Caster curse.
It's your
fault.
Jungle
Qiwen needs to be a little bit careful there, so flips away immediately from Adapting. And now, with the support of Fexez coming in there, they will use Sentry and clear out that ward that was there.
Look at this rotation from IRaffer, though. This is not something you see typically. He's actually going underneath the red buff, spots out Sanjo, but I believe Sanjo saw him as well. Yeah, you can see IRaffer just getting
I like that ward.
Super deep wards for Epsilon.
That super deep ward is because they've got a sentry at the left on Harpies as well, so why not put something deeper in here so they can see the rotation coming in early. Keep an eye that you want to try and track a Thor rotating around the jungle and keep
VoteNBK is in the air. It looks like they're trying to kill Emilitoo. Sanjo, he's taken to the sky as well. Dimi trying to put some poke off. Sanjo, he stayed up there for a long time. Well, it looks like Emilitoo will fall, though. Fexez rotation picks it up. But here's the rest of Epsilon coming in, and JusTus, they might get dove.
Response.
Doesn't look like
no,
it.
they won't get dove. There's a great response from JusTus there. Emilitoo was pushed up too far. A good rotation from JusTus punishes that. They do lose a little bit of the jungle, though, but the wall from Sanjo just stopped Epsilon from trying to get something back in response. Now they're looking for more, though, here, JusTus.
Looks like they're trying to lock down IRaffer. He's going to get stunned out. There's the silence. That ultimate from Yammyn really deterring JusTus. You can see all three of them got hit by this blast damage.
Oh, they get the root off as well, but not the silence damage as well coming out the wall. Just a little bit too far away from him. 1-7 is the scoreline now, but Epsilon still in control.
Qiwen rotating back in here to this mid lane for now. Epsilon, they've got their 1,800 gold lead. They haven't really opened the map, though, right? They've found picks more than anything. It hasn't been, you know, real one-sided engagement.
It's not 15 minutes in yet. That's the reason, right? Because that's what Epsilon does. They wait to 15 minutes and then let's end the game. That's generally what they do time and time again. They look for a goal for you.
I'd say, yeah, 15 minutes, you're right, is about the time that we see them really start pressuring tier 1s and tier 2s more than often in mid lane.
Well, and then going out to others. Sanjo, who is absolutely deleted there, kept inside the silence as well. And now with that channeled ultimate coming out from IRaffer as well, Qiwen's in a lot of trouble here. Going to pick him up for the ring around the rosy, but are they going to find a kill? No.
Fexez doesn't have the damage to lock IRaffer down there. He had already used his abilities, and you could see Qiwen having to use his ultimate just to get out there. And Sanjo picked up level 9 right now to Adapting's 10. Not too far behind, but you know, a couple levels here and there on every single player. It's going to start adding up, especially once you hit level 13. Level 13 is actually a very important level because you get the 3rd rank into your ultimate. A lot of times doing significantly more damage just at the base numbers, not even needing items.
Do love the rotations from Fexez coming out here to the dual lane consistently, trying to keep the pressure off of VoteNBK.
Did he steal that?
Emilitoo did steal that one away. You saw him level up off it as well.
I'm so sorry, VoteNBK.
So not going to get hold of that one. I like Fexez's rotation, though, to try and help out and support, but not going to find it. Emilitoo, very wise.
Ultimate coming off. Looks like Dimi just got a little bit dove, and Dimi, you can see how poked out he is, but with IRaffer rotating in, yeah. So he'll be safe for now. 3-man grouping from JusTus in the mid lane. They might try and make something happen. They might know that IRaffer has rotated over, but looks like they're just trying to split some camps and make sure that all their buffs are secured. Yeah,
no blink on this Ymir, so he's going to relatively use those walls wisely to try and close the gap and the slows available to him.
IRaffer stole the left-hand harpies. And now he stole the right-hand back harpy.
He's just roaming around. Meanwhile, though, Xephyr in the jungle is under pressure here. Caught out position from adapting as well. All the axes on cooldown. You can see that Ymir is here, and that should be a dead Chaac once more.
Couple autos and 4 deaths on Xephyr right now. I mean, that necessarily wasn't even like him being too pushed up. He was just trying to farm his wave, but adapting, rotating in,
Thor's
no
up,
wards for him.
Sanjo's going to try and dunk down, protect his speed, but it's already been dropped. They're still going in for this one. They're looking for the pick onto IRaffer, but the split damage at the moment as the Will Weaver comes out. Beads preempted from Sanjo. Who's that going to hit onto? It's blocked by Qiwen, who spins around using the immunity there. But on the backside, Fexez is under heavy pressure from adapting.
Qiwen trying to keep him alive. Not going to happen, though. Adapting picks up that kill, and 3 dead from JusTus. They're just funneling in one at a time, just feeding Epsilon more kills. Qiwen silenced out, rooted in place. Dimi locks him down with the shining metal, and Yammyn, he's the one credited for that kill.
And meanwhile, teleport in from Xephyr to clear one wave out before the rotation comes in. Emilitoo pressuring the tier 1 tower on the left-hand side. Should find it very, very soon. He's trying to block the auto attacks his VoteNBK from allowing Emilitoo to pick up the tower. It's worked out so far so good with a new minion wave coming in. He holds the tower for now.
VoteNBK aggressive there, dashing into Emilitoo, but small backflip, and that's just going to be the end of that one. VoteNBK, it's going to be so hard for him to fight into Emilitoo. Emilitoo, though, doesn't really have a fully completed lifesteal item yet, so I like the attempt considering, you know, he's starting to stack up his Devo's gauntlets, but yeah, there's the Soul Eater, and now VoteNBK cannot box Emilitoo at all. And
I mentioned a couple times, VoteNBK so far this season, best performances on JusTus as a whole. Dies the least, makes the most kills for the team for the most part from what I can tell. So he's having the biggest impact on this roster. He's having a good, since coming up from the Challenger Cup, has had a very good time of it.
I think a lot of it is the fact that the members from on JusTus are just being swapped out so much. Not only players into the team, but also just roles. VoteNBK going to get dashed on, adapting. A couple more autos, then he thought we'll finish it. And
no, he won't. Adapting's going to say, no, I'm not giving that over to you.
It would have been dead without the jump, for sure. He made sure that he got that one.
He's just trying to keep Emilitoo's player damage down, that's all.
I mean, he's 7-0-4 right now. He's been a part of 11 of the 13 kills. Secured most of them himself.
Sanjo
Gold Fury being started up.
Going to try and defend this one. Is he going to dunk it and find it? That's the question. He's in there. Gets a very good stun off. Gold Fury does some good damage. Not sure where the Gold Fury went to. The double tap does not connect. Is it still? Sanjo under a lot of pressure. Their circle protection will keep him alive. Good use of that from Fexez. They're not going to find a kill there. And the Gold Fury went in the way of actually JusTus. They did steal that away.
Did they? Can we actually take a look at the graphs? Was it
did.
that far of a difference?
Just
It was. Yeah, so great job by Sanjo coming in and securing that one. He locked down
individual play.
Locked down 3 players, yeah. And that actually could have been a really good fight for JusTus, but the rest of his team was a little bit too far behind. Fexez not going to be able to get out of that ring. He's going to fall to IRaffer, who's slammed in place. Whirlwind coming through. Qiwen is just trying to 1v1 IRaffer right now, caught behind. I don't think the percentage health will be enough. One more tick.
Some damage with those arches, but just barely. Adapt's actually body blocked in there trying to get him killed, but it didn't work out, unfortunately. Emilitoo, attempt from VoteNBK to steal away this purple buff. There's nobody else going to be here, so who's going to win this little trade? There is a weave on the ground. Keep an eye on that one.
I love this from VoteNBK. He's not auto-attacking. He knows his damage, but his potential damage output. He's waiting for Emilitoo to get a little bit lower.
And Emilitoo was wise, just sustainable.
Oh,
look at
man,
this
rotation.
Look at this. With Nox inside the Fenrir to get over the wall and try and close the gap. Will Weaver coming out looking for VoteNBK again. There's the damage as well. Ragnarok coming out, going to bring him back to the science. No, it doesn't connect. The root still should have enough to pick him up the root. And the Unchained.
That cripple, incredibly powerful, especially against an ADC who was forced to use beads earlier. Sanjo looks like he's going to pick up Dimi. Dimi, 2 deaths. Is he going to have one?
Minion
or just 0
blocks.
deaths so far. Is this going to be his first one? Yeah, Sanjo secures that one.
Good work from Sanjo. Going to take straight to this guy. So I think he's a bit worried about a rotation.
He was definitely scared. He had no idea where anyone was. You could see IRaffer. He's lurking there.
He's looking for backup. That's all Raff is after. Where's his backup?
He doesn't even want the enemy buffs. He's just like, I just want backup.
Speed up, yeah. I want speed.
I wonder, is he leaving a camp?
He's actually going back to his days of jungle past. That's what he's doing right now. He's like, oh, I used to be a jungler once. But then Adapt's appeared, and I'm nothing in comparison.
Fexez rotating in as well. I don't think they're going to have the position for this. Yeah, Emilitoo, good job on him to juke out that spirit ball. But he has no mana, so he's going to be forced back for now. Spend a little bit of that gold. Play a little bit safe.
Rafa happy. Happy days. I do love what we saw from Yammyn, though, combining with the Fenrir to use the ability to get over walls with jumping inside his teammate. It was very, very wise and useful. Looks like looking for the pick onto Chaac over on this side as the silence comes out as well. But Ragnarok proc to stop the silence being effective as Yammyn in mid lane does find Fexez, and the Axe Murderer falls down.
Good job from Epsilon continuing to shut down Xephyr.
Sanjo
0 and 5. That wall, fantastic. Rapper, he wants to steal that kill away from Adapting.
I needed that speed buff because I wouldn't have got that wall in the right position.
Look at this. Rapper is literally jungling again. Yeah. That's what he's doing right now. He's like, all right, I'm back in the jungle, boys. We made it. We made it. Mortality, it wasn't working out, but I can jungle for Epsilon.
Well, he's getting better GPM these days as well, if you check those slash lines from when he used to jungle, so good times for him and the boys of Epsilon. 21-1 at the scoreline before this game even began in terms of their win-loss ratio. Well, it looks like 22-1 right now after game 1 because JusTus have a long way back in. You said they have to find 20 kills to win a game.
Yeah, 18 more.
18 more to go.
If they can find 18 kills, they're going to win this game for sure.
You guarantee me that. Don't let me down.
I don't know if it's going to happen, though, in this one. 15 minutes in, they're just so far behind. Can we actually take a look at the graphs? I'm mostly looking at the experience here, and it's 14,000. Just look at the level difference. Dimi has 2 levels. Sanjo's down 3. Fexez
having a good
down
game,
4.
Sanjo is having a good game. He's trying to make as much happen for his team as possible at the moment. He's the only one credited with kills. I mean, 1-4 and 1 been involved.
He had the Gold Fury steal as well.
Gold Fury steal as well. He's making an impact for the team, but he's just not enough against his Epsilon lineup right now.
It just seems like JusTus is always like half a step behind whatever Epsilon is doing. So they come crashing in, or each of their players are on just a different page, right? One player will go in, and the other player's like, are we fighting? Okay, then he goes in, and it's never in time. VoteNBK.
Guess it's how he gets out of trouble. Meanwhile, in mid lane, Qiwen picks up 2, but gets annihilated by the ultimate coming out from Yammyn. Raff in a bit of a bad spot thanks to that wall. Actually, ults just out of tower range there for some extra defenses, but Chaac is here. Thor's in the sky as well. They should find the pick on Raffer here. Dunk at the backside to keep Yammyn pinned. Raffer finally falls down, and there's not a whole lot they can do as Fenrir finally turns up.
And now Xephyr, he has no beads. He actually has no actives outside of teleport. Adapting, he's going to secure that kill. Jump over the wall. He's looking for Fexez. Dimi's ult coming through. It's not going to be enough damage, but it should get him low enough for Adapting to find the last tick.
What did I say? 15 minutes. Kevin, they group up, they get a tier 1 tower, they're pressuring a tier 2. Time and time again, we see Epsilon do this every single week.
It's like a mechanical game for them. I mean, they know their formula to win, and it's just kind of a matter of which gods are we playing.
But the thing
right?
is, like, if people like me are watching these games and I can go 15 minutes, they turn it on. Other teams around the world will be doing the same thing.
I would expect people. I expect people to be watching all these games and really nailing down, because if you're at that top side of the bracket, you're facing off against Epsilon, almost guaranteed. You know, they still have to win both games, but I mean, I'm assuming Epsilon is at least going to win this one. It's a pretty far off notion to say that JusTus will find the win here.
Not going to be contested this time by JusTus. No steal from Sanjo, so Gofury goes over to Epsilon. So we check in with the 2 solo laners today. You can see Xephyr not having the best of times right now. 3 wins, 17 losses, we said. Damage, not too bad. A lot lower, though, than the KDA.
These are also
Dimi.
A lot of these stats for Xephyr are jungle. He's played in every single match that JusTus has had this split, but a majority of them are from the jungle. I believe it was like week 7 or week 6 that he switched. It was only recently, so he only has a couple games with the solo laner. Just trying his best to really maintain his new role, but he hasn't had a good look. He lost first blood in a 1v1 to Dimi.
I'll talk about Dimi. He's now rotating into support IRaffer a little bit. The fog's out. Xephyr not aware of the situation just yet. He's not really too worried, though, with the support of Fexez and Qiwen there. They're going to pick up IRaffer and fling it back into a bad spot. Circle of protection comes out. Fire Giant was actually aggroed there as well, which I don't think the plan was, but adapting, combining with Dimi and the fire shards to pick up 1, and they pull Qiwen into a bad spot too, but adapting presence of mind to jump over for Sanjo.
Dimi going to be chasing 1. Xephyr teleporting over the wall, but Emilitoo was waiting for him. He finds that kill. 3 dead on the side of JusTus. Qiwen on no mana. VoteNBK on no mana. They're going to have to take trips back to the base as Epsilon steals the speed buff away from Sanjo for, I believe, like the 3rd or 4th time this match. I mean, they are not allowing JusTus to even farm their back harpies. That's how dominant Epsilon is right now.
Fire Giant is a potential on the board there. We do have a little bit of a pause coming out. Dimi have a few connection issues there, but still involved in the team fight. And you saw his slashdown in that solo lane. Great performance from all of Epsilon all season long. What are teams going to have to do coming to the LAN to contest against this team?
LAN is always different. I believe it actually, you always see like I don't want to say a closing of skill gaps, but when you're at the top like Epsilon is, it's very hard to stay at the top or push yourself above your current skill level. You know, Fnatic, you could see their recent improvements, a lot of it coming from playing Epsilon now every single day. You take a look, Season 1, Cog Red, Cog Prime, they were the same thing. Cog Red couldn't win a single thing. They were 4th seed, a lot of times dropping before they even made it into the semifinal stage during the weekly tournaments, and then they get picked up by the Cog organization. They start scribbing the best team in the world at the time, Cognitive Prime, and then they kind of just slowly became better and better and eventually surpassed them, starting with the SPL kickoff LAN. I mean, at LAN, teams play better. And there's only been, I believe, 1 tournament in Smite's history that a 1st seed has won.
Well, aggression in the jungle from Epsilon. They're looking for the pick on Fexez. That wall will pin him into an awkward spot. Circle of protection will buy him a second, but silence, I kill you, says Yammyn, and he picks up the kill.
IRaffer chasing down Qiwen in the jungle. He's going to be stunned out, adapting, just trying to counter a ward. Doesn't even seem to care about it. Jump, going to be stunning Qiwen in place. Beads are used, trying to get out. Adapting, going to pick him up, drop him in a silence. Dimi secures that kill, and Epsilon just kind of rolling this one.
It looks like it now. They're going to just pressure the tier 1, 2 tower on the right-hand side there. Sanjo can't really defend against 3 and adapting. Quite happy to tank that one up with a Mail of Renewal online for himself. He's quite tanky to hold it for a few seconds. But with Xephyr coming in, has to be a little bit careful. Clay minions will help out a little bit. Tier 2 tower should fall any second there. With Xephyr, he walks a little bit too far forward, and the fog will bring him down.
I've seen that a lot. JusTus not respecting the damage that I think Epsilon could put out on them. VoteNBK boxing Emilitoo. He's 3 levels down, and he actually might win this fight. 1 more auto. Oh, he's taking to the sky. Emilitoo will be able to heal off that weave if he chooses. VoteNBK coming down, but IRaffer is here. IRaffer, I think, should have just let that 1v1 play out, personally.
I think that was Emilitoo not respecting VoteNBK as much as he should have done, because he lost that trade pretty hard. His teammates came to the rescue in the end, and Sanjo, well, he tried to come to the rescue of his fallen comrade, but it doesn't work out. Now Qiwen's got to run for his life there, away from the team of Epsilon, who's the body bring down the tier 2 tower. Where they're going to head next? Well, Gofury is up a little while, but the Fire Giant's also an option.
Dual lane from Epsilon going to be backing, so more than likely going to head to the Fire Giant afterwards. You could see Yammyn already making his way there, and Yammyn, you know, we haven't really talked about the Nox too much, but he's had a great game. The biggest problem, or not the biggest problem with Nox, but the hardest thing about playing Nox is actually hitting that root. It is not the easiest ability to hit, and it's an integral part of her kit to where she's kind of just a sitting duck if she doesn't secure her combo. So all props to Yammyn. You could tell he's been putting in a lot of practice with the god.
A lot of practice with it. And it's one of these things that we were mentioning about Epsilon potentially experimenting a little bit with compositions that could be used later on down the line. Make it look, everything look like a flex pick for them as well. So trying to mix it up, maybe run the Nox in the solo lane next time and new Ymir. Just keep switching up the roster so nobody really has an idea about what their full strategy will be in the game against them.
Epsilon continuing to steal buffs away from JusTus. It doesn't look like they want to start up the Fire Giant yet, though. Just trying to look for these picks. You could always, there's always the potential to throw, so it's a little bit risky for them.
They're only 16 kills away, JusTus. Remember that. You said
That's true.
this. 16 kills, they've still got an opportunity. One deicide, the Fire Giant, this could swing the game still.
And then, you know, another deicide, and then a third deicide, and then you get a kill, and then you win.
Well, Fire Giant, mentioning that, has been started already. And alone, one man is defending at the moment, but now the reinforcements are here. Xephyr tries to get in for the steal with the ultimate, but he's already down. Qiwen on the backside, alone, now isolated away from the team. Does get his ultimate off, but he gets flung into an awkward spot, and the pressure's all on Qiwen. He will fall down first of all, and immediately deleted Sanjo as he landed into an awful world of hurt.
That was a fight that, you know, JusTus doing a good job of taking on, but I mean, it's just not going to be enough. All 5 members locked it down. No towers up.
It was the one chance, right? They get the Fire Giant.
You got to all in at some point, and it's almost better to all in once the enemy team has taken enough poke from Fire Giant, because realistically, your Phoenix is not going to be doing that much damage at this point in the game. And you know, trying to fight under Phoenix, we just see it fail so many times. I like the option to try and fight on the Fire Giant. Unfortunately, Epsilon were way too far ahead for them to do it.
Against the #1 team in Europe, you've got to try and make something happen for yourself. But it looks like Epsilon are just going to slowly but surely clean up this map, taking 2 Phoenixes so far. 1 more Phoenix to go. I expect them to go all in very, very soon and find the kill. Forcing beads on Sanjo early for the Ragnarok. Freeze does not connect from IRaffer there. The ward bought a second, but all Phoenix is down. And I think we'll see Epsilon quickly go for the Gold Fury, return to base to spend that gold, and then look to close this one out.
They are playing so safe. I'm really surprised they didn't really just all in there. I think
they could have done.
I think just fighting on top of the Titan would have been enough damage. You know, even if they lost a couple or had a few deaths.
After a couple more alpha draft points, that's what it is.
that's probably what it is. Adapting's like, I gotta beat Trick's
Guys,
tank.
my KDA is not high enough right now.
That could be it. He's 12-0 and 16. I mean, he's looking for like his, what, 800th MVP award, something like that?
800? That's a bit high. Come on.
I don't know.
Realism.
All right, how many weeks is it? 8 weeks? So he's looking for, like, honestly, I think it's his 4th. I think Adapting has been MVP 3 weeks.
He's had a few.
I know Yammyn's been MVP as well.
Oh gosh, Sanjo has to use the element defensively to get away from the squad who was chasing him down. Will Weaver's still being channeled on him too.
That's a lot of damage for a late game Neith ult. That is a lot. I mean, Sanjo right now, level 15 at 25 minutes. Just doesn't have the health. And he's got no defensive items either. Typically, in that slot after Jotuns, you will see players go into a Mail of Renewal or something, but it's understandable that Sanjo's kind of like, I need the damage.
You see Emilitoo's build, by the way, Frostbound Hammer, and he's also working on that Hasten Fatalis again by the looks of it.
We actually have seen Frostbound start to have a little bit of rise. We saw it first, I believe, at COG Invitational, where it was picked up frequently by Barracuda, and I believe Zapman as well, so it's nothing to scoff at.
Well, IRaffer doesn't find the freeze, takes a little bit of poke damage back from the boys of JusTus, but it's not enough to really kill him yet. Fire Giant buff should regen him a little bit more. Flips used by Qiwen there as the 5 minions pour